This is a presentation of USATF Productions.
And welcome back to day 2 to the 2024 Olympic Trials in Eugene, Oregon. Day 1 was amazing. We saw a world record in the under 18 category. Then we also named our first 3 Olympians to the team in the men's 10K. Today in day 2, we're getting ready for the men's shot put final, as well as women's triple jump, as well as the women's 100. So join us for all the action. We're here in the Fan Fest with all the games and music. Come out and join us. Let's get ready for day 2.
Welcome to your USA Track and Field Journey to Gold live show. I'm your host, Darrell Hill. Here with Will Lear, we've got Dawn Herper-Nelson, we've got Michelle Carter, and a ton of wonderful guests here with us today. Yesterday, we put a ribbon on the first official day of competition. Our first 3 Olympians have been named in the 10,000 meters, where some of us, only some of us,
oh boy, here
made
we go.
correct
Here we go.
predictions.
I'm not going to hear the end of this one, am I?
Listen, we got tons of time to talk about the 10K, so I won't lean too much into it right now. But just being in that stadium yesterday for the first time, but the first day of the trials, it was fantastic. What did you feel being in the stadium for Olympic trials day 1?
The energy of the Olympic trials is palpable in the stands of Hayward Field. The fans are out. The athletes are performing. I think that's the number one thing, Darrell. We saw athletes step up.
Right.
We saw a couple heavy hitters. Maybe some people didn't make it to the start line. The stress and intensity of the Olympics right now weighing heavy on competitors who are favorites and maybe some long shots alike. But my goodness, did we have an incredible day 1.
No, it was fantastic. Honestly, listen, the last Olympic trials, I was here, I was competing. So I don't usually get to be in Hayward Field and get to hang around in the stands. And honestly, I was more impressed with just how comfortable the seating was, right? We were trying to hide from the sun a little bit, but it was good. The crowd was engaged. I think we got a bigger crowd coming here today. It was an awesome, awesome environment, but it was really cool just to see the track. Obviously, we had the first round, a lot of qualifying rounds. 2 of our superstars in the sport got back into competition for their season openers, which sounds crazy for an Olympic trials.
It's
but
wild.
Sometimes it be like that. Ryan Krauser getting his throws out, making it through to the next round. I think Moo getting through the first round as well. So it was really, really cool. What stood out to you on the track performance-wise for you?
On the track performance-wise, I mean, there are a couple different things that we can talk about that everyone's going to want to talk about. But I think one of the things you hit on the head was seeing Ryan Krauser come out, perform, execute, and then also watching Athing Mu. Athing Mu looks like she didn't miss a day. She didn't miss a beat. She executed her race, her and Bobby Kersey's race strategy to perfection, sitting right there on the shoulder of the leader, and looked effortless making it to the semifinals of the 800. We'll see her on the track again tomorrow. In the men's 1500, I obviously have a sweet spot for that event. That was the one I competed in. We saw a lot of athletes maybe trip and stumble. You know, some of the heavy hitters, Cole Hawker looked amazing, but survive and advance, that's the name of the game.
It literally is the name of the game. That's the only thing that's here. They do not hand out the Olympic gold medals here in Eugene, Oregon, but you must make it through Eugene, Oregon in order to get there, man. So listen, we got tons and tons of things going on today, but first we're going to send it out to Michelle in the fan zone.
All right, we are live here in the fan zone. I have some amazing fans behind me. Make some noise, make some noise. Also, I have some trivia questions. So we're going to see if anybody in the audience knows these questions. So let me see. Let me ask. Who should I go to first? This is because you said it earlier. You ready? So what's your name and where you're from?
My name's Hannah. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh, awesome. So what is your favorite event to watch here at the Olympic Trials?
Honestly, I really like pole vault. I know it's something that I could never do, and it's just really cool to see.
You know, secretly, I kind of wish I was a pole vaulter just so I could float in the air, but I don't think me and gravity going to agree with that one. All right, you ready for a trivia question today?
I am.
Awesome. So my question to you is, who holds the current world record in the women's 100 meters?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. That's okay. I'm going to go on to the next person. Let me see. Who might know this question? You know what? You looking like you might doubt. I know you might know this question. All right. So what's your name and where you from?
Elton Irvin, Houston, Texas.
Okay, Houston. I'm from Dallas, so we're not too far apart. All right. My question to you is, Who holds the world record in the women's 100 meters?
Flojo, Florence Griffin Jr.
Do you know the time?
Yes, 10:49.
You are correct. You are correct. We have a wonderful gift for you. You know what? I'm going to grab this one because I feel like you look like you work out. You might be able to use this. So enjoy your hypervolt.
Thank you.
All right, question number 2. I'm coming over here because I think you might know this one too.
Probably not.
All right. Who has the most U.S. trial wins for men?
It would be Flojo's brother-in-law.
Do you think of the name?
Johnson.
Yeah, let me double check. No, that's not. I'm going to give you one more guess. One more guess.
Is it Flojo?
It's not Flojo. It's men's. It's men's. Let me see. I'm going to come back around. Who? Oh, he said you know the answer. Come this way. Come a little closer. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Jagger Lombard. I'm from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
All right. So who has the most U.S. trial wins for men?
Is it Justin Gatlin?
No. Oh, this one might be the hard. You'll give it a shot. Okay, tell me your name and where you're from.
My name's Greg. I'm from Frederick, Maryland.
Okay. Who has the most U.S. trials wins for men?
Carl Lewis?
Yes, that's correct. Yes. All right, here's the gift for you. We have a set of pins and a T-shirt, so enjoy. Thank you so much for playing with us. Well, we had a good time here in the fan zone with some trivia. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for that, Michelle. Listen, I'll be honest with you, Will. Them trivia questions getting a little tricky. I heard the question she was asking. I really don't even know if I would have won the prize, to be honest.
I would expect something deep inside of my brain to click, though, when I saw that hypervolt. So that's all I'm going to say.
I think you raised a good point. Listen, obviously we're talking about yesterday, we're talking about qualifications. I would be remiss if I went any further in this show and did not talk about the 16-year-old phenom, Quincy Williams, out of Bullis High School. 44.66 of a high schooler. I'm going to take a pause here, and I want to hear what you got to say about that performance.
I mean, one of the things I will say is I've been following this young man. I have yet to have an opportunity to see him race in person. He holds himself like a veteran. I mean, there's ice in this kid's veins, Darrell.
Yeah, it's crazy. Listen, I was just at the New Balance High School Nationals doing a little bit of recruiting. Listen, I told you guys I'm everywhere, right? Getting a good chance to see this kid run in person. At that meet, he ran 45.1. And so we come here to the trials and we're thinking it's going to be some really nice, cool story. Oh, high school kid, make it to the Olympic trials. He's probably just going to come here and be happy to be here. That's not what that performance said to me yesterday. I think this kid's got an outside shot of making the relay pool potentially for the Olympic Games.
Outside? This kid's got an inside shot.
I'm trying to give some type of clearance to some of our veterans here, but I can't be wrong. This kid is special. He runs like he just runs free. It's what I see when I watch him compete. Like this dude, he runs like he's got no sense. Truthfully, he runs like a high schooler. But I truly believe that ignorance is bliss.
It's dangerous,
too. Like people always say all the time, you don't know what you don't know. And I truly believe that running style is going to pay dividends for him as he goes to the qualifying and hopefully into the finals, man. I'm excited to see him.
Can't wait to see what this kid has in store for us.
Well, listen, I talked to you guys about all the people we had, all the guests we had, and I am super excited to witness and bring in no other than Emmanuel Acho to our show. Welcome, man.
What's up? All good. Good.
Welcome,
y'all doing
man.
y'all thing.
Absolutely.
Y'all doing y'all thing. It's hot.
It's hot, man.
It's hot.
It's hot, man. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm thankful. I was out on the East Coast, and we've been having an odd fall and winter. We got a lot of rain, not as much snow. So when I saw the forecast that we was going to have 10 days of sunshine for the Olympic trials, I've been smiling on the inside.
I'm smiling out here just because, again, this is an incredibly well-run meet. We saw a lot of great performances yesterday. People don't realize I cover football, I cover basketball for my daily show, but track's my first love.
Sure.
Like there's something about I can run faster than you, I can throw further than you, I can jump higher than you. You don't have to delineate, was it this person, was it that person? No, I'm better than you, no more, no less.
Sure.
And that to me is a beauty of environments like this.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful thing. Listen, before we get too far in, and I got to be honest, I am a fan. So, thank you for being here with us. I watched the show. I watched Speak. Shady McCoy, if you're watching this, you got to stop talking crazy about my boys. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm a Cowboys fan first and foremost. So, listen, I got two non-track and field sports questions that I got to get off my chest.
Talk to me.
Okay? Listen, if I had a time machine and I went into the future and I came back and I said, Emmanuel, the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl this year, what happened? Come on, man. I need to know. Tell me
you
what
would be a liar in the future and the past. That's what would happen. That's what you would be a liar in the future and the past.
You got no faith in my squad?
No, I mean, again, I can talk football. I can talk whatever you want me to talk.
Sure.
The dilemma with the Dallas Cowboys, it's not a matter of talent. It's a matter of performance. It's a matter of execution. To bring it full circle to the track world, people are like, oh, is so-and-so going to make the team? I said, it's all about what you do today. You know what I'm saying? Like, for those that are running 100 in the women's today, it's not about what you did yesterday, what you did 2 weeks ago, what you did in April, what you did in – it's about what you do today. So going back to your question with the Cowboys, regular season, 12 wins, 3 years in a row. Dak Prescott, haven't seen that done in 30 years, if not more.
Right.
But in the playoffs versus the Green Bay Packers, what you do today, they fall short. So what I love really about even sports, primarily in football, but also in track, you don't see it in basketball. We just saw the Celtics. It's a best of 7. What do you do on that day? Win or go home, survive in advance. Like, that's what I love about sports like that in days like today.
I say that all the time. Honestly, it breaks my heart being a Cowboys fan because as a professional athlete, I understand a lot of those same things, right? The performance, competing at the highest level, championships, Olympic trials, coming here, having success, going to world championships, right? Performing on the biggest stages, but I can't shake it. I was raised and I was born into it. So it's like my athletic side and my heart, we don't really align there. But listen, we're going to get away from football. I appreciate you answering that question for me. Thank you. You talked about this performance here. You were in the stadium. You posted on your social media yesterday, Sha'Carri and her prelim. What did you see when you watched that race?
Resilience. But I think yesterday's race for Sha'Carri is really a microcosm of her macro career.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. She sets the world ablaze with the 1075 in Austin, Texas at our track, but then she comes to trials that year and she finishes in 9th place. And then the next year, she doesn't finish. I think she finishes like 23rd out of 31 runners. Then you go to the Worlds, and all of a sudden you win. We've seen resilience in her career. What we saw yesterday in the race, I was recording it on my phone, stumbles out the blocks, almost hit the woman next to her, to the point where I was like, yo, is she going to recover? Not only did she recovered in a fashion of running a 1088. So what I saw from her was resilience. And when you have to wear a crown like she has to wear, not just running fast, but putting on a show, she did that yesterday.
Absolutely.
So we got a little bit of your hot takes in the sprints. We got some throws today. Darrell informed me with a little bit of his research that you were a thrower in high school. All right, so
I got the stats right here. You want me
your boy was kind of nice. Now, you know what I'm saying?
He was kind of nice.
I was kind of nice. I was no Darrell. I was no Michelle Carter. You know what I'm saying? But your boy was kind of nice. I'm gonna be honest. A discus more so than shot. But look, I'm not here to talk about me.
Put some respect on it.
So events today. What are you looking forward to in the throws today?
That's a good one. Well, honestly, most importantly, what I loved yesterday and what I love about being here in Eugene is the reception they have to greatness. When Krauser went out there and they announced Krauser and the whole freaking stadium erupted. I thought I was in Austin for a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole stadium went crazy. That's the kind of stuff that I was like, yo, this is why I love Eugene. Because, yes, they show love to their hometown heroes, you know, the English Gardeners, the Jenna Prandinis. But if you're excellent, they're going to show love for you. And so, really, when I'm coming out here, particularly in the field events, I'm just looking for excellent performances. Because those stories are harder to track. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, the throwing events, obviously, field events, they don't get nearly enough love. We're seeing them with new leagues and all the new leagues and the lack of necessarily including field events. They don't get enough love, but I love just the reception out here, man.
Oh, man, that's beautiful, man. Listen, I appreciate your time. Listen, if you grew up in a black household, right? So one thing you understand is that when Big Sis give you that look, she got one question for you. Man. So I want before I let you get up out of here, man, I want to make sure we get Michelle Carter in here.
Just real quick, because I need everybody to settle this long-time debate we always have on the internet. Super Bowl champions versus world champions.
Oh, no.
So,
he in trouble now.
Who is the real world champions in sport? No. I just got to put that out there because you have on the spot. Ready, set, go.
As someone who loves Olympic sports, I think you have to compete against the world to say that you are a world champion. Personally, I believe that you do. Yes. Because there's one thing when you aren't competing against the entire world. But obviously, if you look at the NBA, I do believe those are the best players in the world. If you look at the NFL, I do believe those are the best players in the world. But I would rather withhold that term for someone that has to go compete against the individual in Brazil, the individual in the Bahamas. Like, in order for our 400 runner, in order for Alexis to be the champion, you got to go out there and you got to beat the Bahamian.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? You got to go beat Shawnee. Like, in order to be a 100-meter champ, you got to beat Toulouse in the Ivory Coast. You got to beat them cats out there in Jamaica. Like, so words mean so much to me that I prefer world champion be reserved for a global sport.
So it's track and field, y'all. Just for you to know,
Listen,
it's track and field.
They are
Period.
going
Drop
to
mic.
cook him when he gets back on speak, but we are thankful that he answered that question the right way while he's here with us. Emmanuel Acho, thank you for your time, my man.
Pleasure's
Always
mine.
a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine.
Listen, we got so much more coming for you, but now we got Dawn out there with some more information for you.
Well, hello there. I bet you're wondering what I'm standing next to. It's the second most important Eiffel Tower in the entire world. Why? Because only the best of the best that the U.S. has to offer gets to sign this. Last night, 10K's Olympians got to grace us with their signature. Check it out. And like I said, only the best of the best, baby. What else did you say? Oh, you want some more insider? Let's go check out that mix zone. Let's go. And this, my friends, is where you get to relive it all. It's called the Media Mix Zone. This is your backdrop, but on the other side of this is everyone calling your name. Dawn, 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 Dawn. Oh my God, it's Dawn, it's Dawn. But it's good or bad. So if it goes good and the dream comes true, it's a blessing. If it goes bad, well, think about it. If you keep it in perspective, it's a blessing because it's where you hope you be. Let's check out that content area. It's new to me too. Okay, so this area is new. It's the content creator area. Check it out, USATF Journey to Gold. It's super dope that USATF is doing this for the Olympics because athletes have a story, you guys want to hear it, and now it's being told. You can find it on USATF's Instagram or your new girl, Real Talk with T. Stories being shared day after day. So happy that we get to share our stories, but now guess what? It's back to my crew.
Man, listen, Michelle. Listen, Michelle, I don't know, in that last little segment with Dawn, it looked like she was out in the wild, man. She got everything going on out there.
Well, that's one thing about content creation. You can make it whatever you want it to be. So that's a fun activity, a fun little area where everybody can just be creative and do whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. I think the coolest thing when she was talking about the Eiffel Tower, that to me is really, really special. You know, we named 3 Olympians last night. Soon as they crossed the finish line, they came in and they signed their names on the Eiffel Tower. To me, that would almost up the ante. Getting a chance to watch that and then know that that's like, obviously you're striving here to make the team, right? But any little thing that I feel like you can grab onto to give you some more motivation, it's amazing to me.
Yes, like knowing when you cross the finish line, when the last throw is done, and you know for sure you're on that team, it's like you could breathe just for a hot second.
Man.
Like just a little bit of relaxation. Goal number 1 is done. And now it's time to prepare for the next goal, is to do your very best at the Olympic Games.
Absolutely. Listen, we are on day number 2 here at the Olympic Trials. I talked to you about the USATF merchandise tent. I talked to you guys about the food trucks. We got so much going on out in the fan zone. If you could look back behind us, the fan zone is just about 2.5 times more popping than it was yesterday.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you've been out there, right? So tell me a bit about what you felt in the fan zone.
There's so many people out there in the fan zone. People are just excited about track and field. They're ready to eat and ready to have a good time. So if you're out here, join us in the fan zone. Come check us out. We're here.
Listen, if you can't get a ticket to the stadium in Eugene and you're watching this here at home, if you make it here, I need you out in the fan zone. And listen, outside in the fan zone, we got Will right now because I think he's found himself a bachelor.
Bachelor and big running fan, Matt James. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here and watch everybody competing out here.
Is this your first Olympic trials? What's your experience so far?
This is my first Olympic trials, first time in Eugene. I mean, just blown away seeing how stacked these fields are and how difficult it's going to be to make this Olympic team. It's got me on the edge of my seat in every event.
So we saw yesterday on social media, you seem like you're a big food guy. You love food at sporting events. I was doing a little bit of scrolling on your IG, I'm not going to lie. So did you sample everything? And if there was a do not miss food, what was it?
You have to take the ESP approach. That's the Ellie St. Pierre approach. You have to be a veteran when you're looking at the food. There's so many options. You don't want to mix the dairy with the hibachi. You might upset your stomach. You got to start out, assess that play that first few laps as you're doing, your assessment of the field. But you got to start out where your heart is. And for me, that's pizza. Started out with pizza, and then you worked your way into something sweet with the ice cream. Then you take a break. You don't hit everything all at once. You could take multiple laps. No one, this is a judgment-free zone.
It's a fest after all.
It's a fest, and you got to pace yourself. A lot of being an athlete, a lot of being an attendee in this field is pace of play. And if you go out here and you try to conquer everything first time around, you're going to end up with an upset stomach. And no one wants an upset stomach at the Olympic trials.
Absolutely not. We don't have time for that, do we?
No one has time.
No one has time for that. Is there anything that you didn't hit that you were looking forward to?
Well, there's some things I'm going to double back on. There is a Blessed barbecue stand up there that has amazing Frito walking tacos. It's a big bag of Fritos with pulled pork, brisket, cheese, and you can just pig out while you're walking around, which is what I like to do. You're burning calories while you're taking them in.
Got to refill the coffers, don't you? All right, so I got a couple track and field questions for you. Obviously, we're going to be crowning a champion in the women's 100 meters tonight. On season 25 of The Bachelor, who wins the 100?
Oh man, 100. That's got to go to Rachel. That's my girlfriend. She's super scrappy and very unassuming, and she's resilient, just like Sha'Carri. So I'm hoping that she could lock in tonight.
Well, you already mentioned scrappy. Now, what if we take the 100 meters and make it full contact?
Full contact. Oh man, I might have to go with the Kit because she's very unassuming. But you know, once she's out there, she's gonna be throwing bows, and no one's gonna expect a vicious, tyrant like her to come out on the track.
All right, so I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to assume that you and all the other bachelors are in a group text thread together. Out of all of those lovely gentlemen, who would be on your 4x4 team?
Oh, that's a great question. 4x4. Oh, this is easy. All right, so Nick Vial ran at Wisconsin, and he was a 400 runner. So
cheating.
He would be the anchor. I would have to put myself third leg because I put myself behind. I put myself behind Nick. First leg, we're gotta go with. We'll go with Sean. We'll go with Sean Lowe, one of my guys, and just for the good time. And second leg, we'll go with. Second leg, we're gonna go with Chris Soules, just because he's a wild card. You never know what he's gonna give you out there.
Chris Soules, last but not least. All right, so vibes are high here. Vibes are high in the Fan Fest. Matt James, you got anything else you want to add about your experience at the Olympic trial so far?
Man, I would love to get more track beef. I think that the drama drives people to reality TV, and I love what we have going on with Kerr and Jakob. And if we could get some of that beef in the States, maybe it would draw, the casual sports fan in. And I'm hoping that maybe we can get some of that with Fred and Noah today, and maybe later on down the line with Yared and Kessler as this rivalry builds up.
Yeah, well, don't sleep with my boy Cole Hawker. All right. Well, thank you very much, Matt. We really appreciate your time. We'll go back up to Darrell and Michelle.
Listen, I got a chance to chat with Matt a little bit before he went out to talk to Will. I don't know how you can be that handsome. I see how he got chosen to be on The Bachelor, but honestly, in this moment, I'm a little bit more jealous that he got an opportunity to try every one of those food places that we got out here in the fan zone.
Right, it's about priorities. What's important to you? So apparently the food trucks is something that is important to you.
Come on, man. If you know anything about me, you know I'm about food. But listen, I got you here, Michelle. I'm super excited, and I've been waiting for this moment right here to bring on our next guest, Mr. John Godina. Come join us.
Yes.
The legend.
Why, hello, throwers.
Oh, hello. I know. Look at this nice throwers panel over here.
I know. Listen,
I'm worried about the stage, actually.
I'm bringing the medal count down, but I'm keeping the swag high. You know what I'm saying? Listen, John Godina, Olympic silver medal, Olympic bronze medal, 4-time world championships, right?
Yep.
I got something for you. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I got a list of names for you.
I'm ready.
Darrell Hill, Ryan Krauser, Joe Kovacs, Josh Awatunde, Turner Washington, Adrian Paperi. What do all of those names have in common?
They have letters?
They do, in fact, have letters, ladies and gentlemen. No, listen, no, but it's one of my favorite accomplishments of yours. We all have gone through the NCAA system, and none of us were able to break your 22 even NCAA record.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that record is still standing today?
I'm actually shocked because, look, there have been a lot of throwers that threw a lot further than me after me, and for some reason it's survived. Look, we're coming up on 30 years.
30.
I mean, 30 years is like older than my oldest.
I literally am 30. I'm 30.
You didn't have to point that out in that way.
You look terrible. Just so you know.
This is why I love you, John. Listen, obviously, we're going to keep it away from college. We're here at the Olympic trials. I'm glad you were here to watch. We all have the same feeling. We want to see some exciting throws. We are now getting ready for the next bout of our heavyweight fight, Joe Kovacs versus Ryan Krauser. I want to ask you a few questions about our guys.
Okay.
Obviously, Ryan came out yesterday in his interview. He talked about some of the things he's dealt with this year. He talked about coming into the Indoor World Championships, dealing with some pain in his ulnar nerve in his elbow. After that, coming back from that, he tore his pec. Came back from that, had some pain in his ulnar nerve again. We got a chance to watch him, you know, throw in a qualifying round. So I want to ask both of you guys, actually, right? Have you guys experienced anything like this in your career, right? Coming into a major championship or something important, feeling a little bit less than 100%, but knowing that you had to perform. What might be going through his brain at this period of time?
I think the answer to that is every single one of us at the top level, we've all blown something apart at the worst possible time.
Exactly.
I've lived that far too many times, unfortunately.
I've literally had a hamstring burst right before World Championships. I want to say, please, this is not guidance for youth today. Do not do this, but I have had over 25 cortisone shots just to make it through.
Oh, my goodness.
But it is what it is. You do what you got to do to get the job done, because guess what? We don't have guaranteed contracts. You got to get your stuff together and get everything done at the big time, win your medals. So the answer to that question is, and if she doesn't say the same exact thing, I'm going to be shocked. Yeah, there's some horrible things you've got to go through.
Yes, I to be honest, unfortunately, some of my greater performances have come at the time after injuries. Why? Because it's like something clicks in your mind where you have to focus even more mentally. So right before the 2016 Olympic Games, I had a herniated disc in my back.
Okay.
So since indoor nationals to indoor worlds, all the way up until the Olympic Games, Olympic trials, I didn't compete since indoor.
Sure.
All 2016 outdoor because I was injured and trying to recover. But something clicked in my mind. I'm like, Michelle, you got to make this team.
Amen.
And so you know how to push forward. So I definitely would not be counting Ryan out, because there's something magical that happens when you come against a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of difficulty. It normally just adds a little bit more to the game and pushes you to the next level.
Sure. Yeah, I actually got a chance to run into him inside the training room afterwards. So I saw him. Obviously, I love his dad, love his family. He comes from a great family. But I got a chance to see him, chat with him a little bit. He had a calm to him. I didn't sense any panic. So I don't think we're in for any
Have we
theatrics.
ever seen Ryan panic about anything is the question. He's
Honestly,
always nice and cool and even tone.
I think that's what makes him great.
Well, that being said, I've never seen Joe better. I mean,
you're the segue king. I was going to it. Talk to us, man. Tell us.
I like to say, look, I've never seen Joe better, but I've never seen anybody better than Ryan. So where do you go with that? Where do you go with that when you're dealing with the two all-time greatest shot putters of all time duking it out at the Olympic trials? It's possibly, look, let's be honest, maybe the greatest unknown fraternity of all time is the U.S. men's shot put team.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that,
the medal count, the greatness that has been for literally 75 years is unparalleled in any sport, and nobody knows it. But what you're seeing here is now it's the culmination of it. You got the two greatest of all time battling it out to see who's going to win the Olympic trials.
Man, this dude's spitting facts. I got one more question for you. Obviously, we know Joe Kovacs versus Ryan Krauser. We've been seeing it year after year, all the way since 2016. Talk to me about some of the other guys, right? We watched the competition. We watched the qualifying round. Give me somebody else that somebody's not talking about who's really caught your eye in the competition.
Well, you got Peyton Otterdahl, of course, who's also having the year of a lifetime. Unfortunately, you run up against the problem of you got the two greatest of all time to deal with. But you're fishing for that third spot, realistically. And you got Peyton coming in looking great.
Oh, I'm sick of Peyton. I'm kidding. I love you, Peyton. Love you,
You've also got Jordan Geist. Jordan Geist looked 30 years old in high school. And the man's been around forever.
Yes.
And, look, give him credit. He's grown and grown and grown over time. I love where he's going. And Albatunde, you can't count him out.
Sure.
Look, you got 5 guys over 22 meters, which is unheard of at an Olympics.
Sure.
And this is an Olympic trials. It's going to be one of the best competitions of all time.
Welcome to the U.S. men's shot put. It is always hell. The women's shot put is not going to be any easier coming up next week. I got one more just real. You got one, Michelle, before I go into my real throws nerd?
Well, go ahead to your question, because I'm just going to sit here and be impressed. Over the years, John has always been a man of very few words, so I'm just happy to hear him talk this much.
In retirement, the dude starts to speak more. Every time I see him, he's always forthcoming with information. So I love that I get a chance to actually sit here with you, and that these people are going to get a chance to see this side of you, because I think you're super cool, you know. So my throws nerd question. Okay, it's two-part. Who's the greatest shot putter of all time right now?
Ryan Krauser.
Okay, that was very easy. I knew you would think it was very easy. And who's number 2?
Joe Kovacs.
Is that done?
No.
Okay, thank you. What would the next few years have to look like for those two places to switch for Joe Kovacs?
Okay, so look, let's be honest. Ryan is Ryan, and if he stays healthy, he is always going to be the best ever, in my opinion.
Okay.
But if he doesn't stay healthy, and that's the big trick, is you're getting older, we all fall apart. When do you fall apart is the question. If you don't stay healthy, Joe Kovacs is miraculously rising in his mid-30s,
Sure.
like nobody you've ever seen.
Sure.
It's something that is kind of you haven't seen anything like what he's doing in the shot since Jonathan Edwards in the triple jump in the 1990s, when he just came back out of nowhere from injuries. So what would need to happen would be we'd need an unhealthy streak for Ryan, and we need to see Joe continue to rise as he goes forward. And that's just.
I do have a quick question I want to point out. Is it unusual to see this type of longevity at the top in men's shot put for one person?
I think it has been in the past. Like, I retired at 36.
Right.
These guys will last longer than that, and I think the reason is they are so much bigger and stronger than the last generation.
Yeah.
So lifting heavy and throwing a 16-pound ball proportionally the load is so much less to them in comparison. This guy is one of the big ones. So I'm talking about him while I'm talking about them. But,
thank you.
But these guys can handle a load that they should be able to last till they're 40.
Well, yeah, with that, and also with technology and recovery and what we know today, and our great USATF medical team and staff, it helps us very much. So.
Absolutely. Well, listen, John, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you for taking some time out with us. I can't wait to watch this final in here tonight. It's going to be electric. Before I let you go, do you have any predictions on who's going to win it, what the distance might be, and if you want to give us a top 3?
I got Peyton Otterdahl in third.
Okay.
No idea on the distance, but it's going to be the furthest third place of all time. That's my prediction.
Okay.
And I got a tie.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I love the top.
That is some real. I'm gonna leave
I'm
you right
a complete
there.
coward.
Listen, that is some real love. Obviously, I know you got ties to both these guys. That's love. I just wanted to put you on the spot, so thank you for that, John.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna go get some beer.
Always a pleasure. We're subbing him out. We're subbing Godina out. We're bringing Will
back.
back in. We're not going anywhere. Stay here with us.
No.
All right.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you. So good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Bye.
Always a pleasure, bro. I'll see you in there.
10 more days of this.
I know.
Yes, we do.
More shade over here for these guys. Thanks, man.
It's amazing that all the people we get to have at the desk
I
from
know.
the past, present, and future. I
know.
love it. Get to keep talking about the great history of track and field. I think some people kind of forget how rich our history is in track and field.
Listen.
And how far back we go, especially in the men's shot put. Like, that's one of our premier events that we have been dominant for so long.
People always talk about other sports. They talk about Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, like that ever-growing debate. Like, always talking about the GOAT, and like you don't usually get an opportunity to see two people, the best and the second best, however you want to flip them, competing at the same time. And that's what we've got going on in this shot put. So for all you people who are watching at home, anytime you get a chance to watch our U.S. men's shot putters go head-to-head, it is always a treat. So please treasure it, because I really don't believe that we'll see something like this again after these guys retire, right?
I agree.
So listen, we're moving on into our second, my favorite part of the show. It's our second day of predictions.
Is there a reason why it's your favorite? Is it because you happen to be leading in the standings right now, Darrell?
Listen.
He's only winning today. That's it. We still have a lot of days to go.
All we have is today. All we have is this moment.
Well, you about to lose today.
Okay. All right, listen. We obviously we just had John on here. We're talking about men's shot put. I want to hear you guys' predictions on.
Look, I want to go last this time.
Let me
go Will first.
Okay. Let me jump into this one.
Okay.
So I'll say when you have mouths to feed, your aspirations and your what drives you is a little bit different. Joe Kovacs has thing 1 and thing 2. Joe Kovacs is performing the best of anybody in the world right now in the shot put, and Joe Kovacs is going to be your Olympic trials champion.
Oh, you said she's going last.
Yeah,
okay,
I said
I'm sorry.
last.
Listen, I talked to you guys yesterday about my bias for the 40-meter hurdles. You guys know that's my favorite event. Listen, all my favorite sports shows, I love Nick Wright on First Things First. I love Stephen A. Smith. He's a Knicks fan. He's a Chiefs fan, Nick Wright is. So those guys don't have the biases, neither will I. I'm a Joe Kovacs guy. That's my guy, okay? Like, I trained with him. He was my host at Penn State, you know, so we come from the same school. We had the same coach. I love Ryan to death. I love his family. Those are my guys. But I'm always going to be sticking with Joe Kovacs. So tonight I got Joe.
I was like, he went around the world and back again to get to his answer. I love it. But
said, yeah, me too.
Where are we
The
going?
artist storyteller.
Yeah, me too.
The artist. That's why they hand me the mic. They don't want the plain old predictions. They want theatrics. They want to know.
Well,
the story.
you are bringing all the theatrics. So my predictions is, I'm gonna give it to Joe Kovacs.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why, I feel like the main show, of course, the Olympic trials is important, but the main show is really the Olympic Games. At this point, Ryan just needs to make the team. Make the team. Continue to let your body heal and recover. Just get the top 3 so we can go on and do a possible sweep when we get to the Olympic Games. But I got Joe for number 1, and I just need Ryan to make the team.
I think that's very fair, all things considering just where we are and how we watch the qualifications. Listen to Ryan talk yesterday about all the things he's been through just to make it through this starting line. Like you said, I think the most important thing for him is to check that box, but I'm anticipating Joe trying to set a little message, you know, like,
oh, yeah.
We've gone to back-to-back Olympic Games, and it's been gold and silver, Ryan Krauser, Joe Kovacs. So I look to him to try to, you know, he sees some blood in the water, try to take advantage of that. So go ahead.
Well, because I want to ask both of you guys as shot putters. So one of the questions that came in was companionship versus competition. If Joe Kovacs steps in the ring, first throw, throws 23-1, does that take something off of Ryan Krauser's shoulders? Like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to win today. I can just focus on throwing the way that I've been throwing in practice, which is good enough to make this team? Or am I such a competitor that I'm going to go all in, I'm going to try and get everything out of my body right now, and then maybe it doesn't go as well as it potentially could?
We're going to have to.
Competition is competition.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to take it back in 2016. I came in to just make the team. I was like, I just got to make the team coming off an injury. But then something crept into me when I was in second place going into the last round. I was like, you know what? I actually want to win. So sometimes that competition and that competitor inside of you is going to push you to the next level just because it's in you. So I wouldn't put it past Ryan might try to go after one if Joe comes out with a 23, because you're not going to leave me behind like that. You're not going to embarrass me out on my field. That's what I would think as a competitor.
Well, listen, both of you guys have said the magic words, which leads me to the next part of our predictions. We're talking about the winning distance. Over, under 23 meters for whoever the victor is, right? Let's take our names away out of it. We all pick Joe Kovacs. Is the victor going over or under 23 meters?
I'm saying over.
I'm saying over.
I'm going... y'all put me in a tough spot. Listen, this is so hard.
It's okay to lose, but go ahead and pick.
I'm going over.
Joe Kovacs, you gotta go.
I'm going over.
You gotta go.
Well, listen, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you about it. I know I've trained with Joe a bit. I know what's important to them, right? So obviously he's throwing well. Sometimes he can just throw 23 meters just by byproduct of being in great shape.
Right.
But I know how much reverence they hold for the Olympic trials.
Right.
They will not come here and miss a step. So there's a piece of my brain that wonders if getting out here, clean throws, 6 clean throws, multiple throws at 2270, 2260, 2240 is enough, and so they can just get right back to work.
Well, also, too, you want to kind of push where your conditioning and your training's at this time of year.
Sure.
Because you don't want to be at your 100% peak, but I got to know if my peak is working. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he throws 1 over 23 meters, because I need to test where I'm at a little bit to assess the next month of training as I get ready for the Olympic Games. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a big throw.
No, and Emmanuel said this earlier, right? The stadium, the fans here at Hayward Field, they love the throws, and they specifically love the shot put, right? One of the things at the Prefontaine Classic every year that we talk about is the number of sub-4-minute miles and the number of over 22-meter throws, right? So this crowd is going to egg them on to some superhuman performances, and both of those men deserve to be in the next Avengers movie.
You know, I've thrown in this field so many times. and the crowd knows if you have a bad throw, you're not going to hear anything.
Nope.
But the minute you have
They're
a big
spoiled,
throw
man.
and they know what it is, you're going to hear the crowd respond. So I only know that it's going to be a loud night tonight in this men's shot
The
put
Hayward
competition.
Field crowd is spoiled, but it's spoiled for good reason because these gentlemen, including myself, I had some really good throws here too, always put on a show anytime they get into the stadium. Obviously, my head was telling me that maybe Joe Kovacs might play it safe, but I've watched this dude throw all season. He is on fire. So literally anytime he steps into the ring, I feel like we are on world record watch.
Yeah.
So 23 meters, I'm taking it over.
Okay, so one more question I have for you guys because I literally know nothing about it.
Okay?
I know in the track and field, on the track surface at Tartan, we know about fast tracks and slow tracks. Is there an equivalent in the ring? Is this do you want a fast ring? Do you want a slow ring? Do you want grip? Do you want, what are we looking at here?
She glides.
Listen,
She
you
glides.
know
She
what?
don't even
You
want
just
to
opened up
okay,
a
you
can
know,
of
go ahead.
worms.
Perfect.
Why?
Let's open it up.
Because these spinners,
I'm
they,
hungry.
you
I
know,
knew she
they're
was
prima
about to go there.
donnas. Spinners
knew
are
she was
prima
about to go
donnas.
there.
As a glider, I can throw in any condition, any ring doesn't matter to me. But they want the slickest, fastest, almost like a discus ring in the shot put ring. But then when it rains, they all are falling outside the ring. But that's them, that's me. But I stay true to the true form of shot put, which is the glide. Thank you very much. But go ahead, Darrell. What's your answer?
Listen. I got you. I'm gonna tell you what's really going on.
Break it down for me.
I'm gonna take care of
Break
this.
it down for me.
Listen, I could talk about shot put all day, so I promise we're gonna wrap this up and move forward, right? But talking about the rings here. When they built the stadium back in 2021, the rings were a real problem here. They were really
slick.
fast, really slick. And, it's not really good to have that style of ring here in Eugene. Obviously, we got beautiful weather today, so we're in for it. But this is a place that historically has a lot of rain. So those rings were not necessarily up to standard or what we want. The University of Oregon hired Brian Blutrick as their coach 2 years ago, and I noticed the quality of those rings have improved ever since. So I was out there in the pre-meet yesterday, just doing a little bit of turns just to try to check and see. Obviously, because I've known they've been poor. Those rings are ready for far throws. So Eugene, Oregon, it's always been a great ring, and now it's back to being a great ring. But
it's a great science to great concrete for a great shot put ring.
Absolutely. Listen, in the spirit of your predictions, we're moving on to our next one. We're talking about another event, women's triple jump. We watched the qualification yesterday, okay? We got one woman over 14 meters, that's Jasmine Moore. We got the usual suspects, Tori Franklin, Katora Orji. We got people like Imani Oliver, a lot of other, people who are just trying to find their footing in this event. My question for you guys is who's winning the triple jump?
Right now, I'm putting Katora as winning. I know she's had some ups and downs, but it's something about the fact that she hasn't quit and she's still in there going after it, and she has experience.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to seeing her have a big throw. I really want to see her do well. So that's going to be my pick for women's triple jump.
What you got, Will?
Well, again, let's acknowledge bias where it exists.
I love it.
I'm very lucky and humbled to be the chair of the Athletes Commission for USA Track and Field. Katura is actively involved in the Athletes Commission, and so I love to see athletes who not only perform on the track but also support track and field off of the track in their volunteer efforts with USA Track and Field. So I'm going Katura all the way.
Dang, y'all put me in a tough spot. Katura is one of my favorite athletes in track and field. She's a good friend of mine. But listen, I'm a truth teller here. I'm here about business. I'm here about work, okay? And Katura is a veteran. Tori Franklin is a veteran. But I went to the Bowerman ceremony this year, right? And somebody keeps getting overlooked by the name of Jasmine Moore. And she got up on stage and she did her speech. She talked about being here again and again and again and again and feeling overlooked. And every time I watch her compete, I see a chip on her shoulder. Right? She's doing 2 events. She's trying to be like a little bit of Will Clay. She's doing long jump. She just long jumped 688 in New York Grand Prix. That's not nothing, right? So obviously, Katora Orji has the best jump, 1450 on the year. But when I watched Jasmine Moore jump yesterday and knowing what kind of competitor she is, I know those other 2 women have their eyes set on the summer, and they really just want to come here, obviously put together good performances, but their goal is to make the team. But I know Miss Jasmine Moore, she's carrying a big old chip on her shoulder, so she's my prediction to win the women's triple jump.
Okay. I'm not mad at that prediction at all, because I do understand that. When you're the underdog and you want to go out there and prove yourself, it does give you a little bit of extra edge to go out there and compete at your very best.
It's funny to talk about underdog mentality as someone who posted the #1 jump in the qualification round. So, so you ready to move on?
I'm absolutely. Listen, so obviously, we got a show coming up. We got a show coming up. One of our superstars in our sport is competing tonight in the women's 100 meters. By the time this thing gets rolling, obviously we got semifinal and the final tonight, so we're making predictions. As people got to get through 2 rounds, right? But the women's 100 meters, who you got?
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and start this off. I have Sha'Carri Richardson.
I
do. I do. I think she's really ready to have a great performance. What happened at the last trial, she's coming out here making sure that she is going to make her name known the way that she wants to make it known. And plus, we're from Dallas, Texas. Shout out to Dallas. And I got to represent for the home team. But I'm excited to see her run today. I think she's going to do amazing.
Who you got? I've been going last. I'll switch it up. I'll go here. There's no surprises coming tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's Sha'Carri Richardson. I watched her run yesterday. We had Acho up here talking about, he had a video. That was actually where I got a chance to see the race. I saw it on his phone. Shoes untied, stumbles out the blocks, 1088. A little bit of inside story, right? I was going through the pre-meet. I watched everybody going around. Sha'Carri, I love her to death. She gives me a hug. She goes over, gets on the massage table. She takes off her Beats headphones, but the music's still playing. And I'm like, what was she listening to? All I heard was Lil Boosie set it off. And you know, and listen, once I heard that and I put 1 + 1.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is, man. She ain't come here to play.
All right. I'm going to have a request for the team, for the table.
Okay.
If you should accept it. Can I take the field? You guys took Sha'Carri. Let me take the field.
Oh, you want to choose all of them?
He can have all of them.
All the rest of them.
Hey, listen, camera on me. Camera on me. Camera on me. Camera on me. He can have all of them.
And I'll take them.
I got Sha'Carri.
I will take them.
He can have all of them. I already know Sha'Carri gonna hold me down. I know you probably not watching this, but if you see this, because because we gonna play it afterwards. I need people. I need people to see how I'm standing on the table for him. So Will's got the field. I got Sha'Carri. That's it.
And I have Sha'Carri.
And she got Sha'Carri as well. We holding it down.
Well, going off, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Will the winning time be more than 1080?
I'm gonna say it's going to be faster than 1080. I think just the overall quality of the field, I'm really bummed that we don't have Jay Shashir, the world leader, from Tennessee running this year. Obviously, she had to pull out due to injury. But the quality of that field, watching Melissa Jefferson run yesterday, run 1091, watching Aaliyah Hobbs run yesterday, watching Mackenzie Long come out of college running fast, I think it's going to require a really fast performance in order to win. And watching Sha'Carri run, I think she's ready to deliver that. So I'm taking the under. We going under 1080.
Yeah. What about you, Will?
Yeah, I think Sha'Carri is going to go under 1080. Yeah, that's what I think.
So you think she's going to win, or you think like, what you saying? What are you saying?
Don't read too deep into my statement. Sha'Carri is going to break 10.8.
That's why they pay us the small bucks.
And I'm saying under as well. If you can run 1088, stumble out the blocks with your shoe untied, you get your start together, focus, and your shoes are right. 1080 under 1080 is easy.
Listen, well, obviously, that's our predictions. You guys been following us yesterday. I'm up 2. We got 1 and we got 1. I'm telling you I'm going to win this whole thing, all right? But the only reason I'm up 2 is because the men's 10,000 meters went on last night, and we had Grant Fisher winning.
There was early on in the performance of the 10,000 last night. The weather was hot. There was a bit of breeze on the back stretch. We saw some athletes, Paul Chalimo, grabbing some water. And then, you know what? Someone who I actually didn't even know if he was going to step on the start line sort of made things a little bit toasty out there for the runners. When you had Connor Mance sort of like grabbing the bull by the horns, running some 64s out the gates. I was like, what are we seeing right now?
Yes, he did, man. Half of our prediction yesterday was who's going to be leading that 5K. And both of our pick, another gentleman who's going to have a pleasure to speak with, Nico Young, he's hanging back in second place. I'm kind of like, at 5K, I'm like, man, get that guy out of here, man. But listen, somebody had to go out there and take it, and he did that, but Grant Fisher was able to come through and get the dub.
Yeah, we all knew that this was going to be a tale of 3 cities at the end of the day for this 10,000 meters, and we're feeling very, very lucky to have 2 of the men that are going to be going to Paris with us. And I think, first of all, Woody, you got to look at those highlights a little bit. We're here with Woody Kincaid. What was going through your mind, and how were you feeling last night in that 10,000?
Well, first of all, it's clear to you guys that it was going to be a tale of 3 cities. It's not clear to us. We want it to be that way. But yeah, I think I was just keeping my eyes on the people that I had to beat, and try not to get distracted by Chalimo doing that stuff, and then Nico making moves when he had to make moves, and I was glued to Grant. So it was a tale of 3 cities to you guys, but it was 100 cities to us racing.
You know, 25, we got to watch it unfold over 25 laps, which is great. I love the crescendo of the 10,000 meters. We got to see you guys. You're the first 3 people to sign the Eiffel Tower. What was that experience like on the infield of Hayward?
I love the 10K for that. I love everything about the 10K except racing 25 laps. Like, you get to go first. You get you get the nerves gone. I love to watch the rest of the events with a, clear mind and full heart. And so, yeah, it felt good. It felt really good.
That's cool, man. Listen, obviously, 10K, first day of the trials. I've also had the pleasure of being named the first Olympians of an Olympic trials, so I know that's got to be an amazing feeling, right? Getting ready to go back to your second Olympic Games. I was taking a look at you, man. First of all, before I even get into any of that, Woody Kincaid, that's a fire name.
Thank you.
That's a fire name. Like, I'm awesome that obviously out of all those people running those 25 laps, the 3 people that we picked, right, they're all here on this desk with us. So, second Olympic Games, you go to the Olympics last year, you qualify for the finals last games, qualify for the finals, finish 14th. What do you take from that performance into the next one as something that'll help you maybe move up the ranks to the second time?
Focus, man. I'm gonna just be like, there's things that I'm gonna cut out that I'm gonna be more focused on. All right, let's execute the race. That's what I'm all about, like getting that medal. And I think that competing is something that takes, at least for the Olympic Games, all your focus. And that I think having just a good Olympics that's not COVID for one is going to help a lot too.
Yeah, that'll help for sure.
Great, yeah.
So, Woody, the real ones know that the last time we saw you race was at the 10.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of a break in the action. We like to see Woody out on the track. So, walk us through the last couple of months and what were some of the key things that told you in between the ears that you were ready for this thing?
I really wasn't totally sure because I got hurt. I felt really good coming off that 10K in March. I was like, you're under sub 27, you have the standard. I felt pretty good about my odds at that point. But then I had some adversity. I got hurt in mid-April. I had to take a couple down weeks. I took 10 days off. And suddenly I had to restart the engine early in May, and I wouldn't say my confidence was through the roof, but it was pretty good. I had a few good key workouts, and I had Luis Grijalva really take me through a great session 2 weeks ago, and that's kind of all I had to key off of. I had one great workout 2 weeks ago. I'm like, all right, I think I can do this. And fortunately, Mike was like, hey, just trust your experience, and I kind of did. Yeah.
So you just referred to it, Mike Smith, one of the pinnacle best middle and long distance coaches in the United States and maybe the world. But you guys also have a pretty exceptional training group up there.
Sure.
And talk to me about when you're going through some of these ups and downs of preparing to run a grueling race like the 10K, you get to see firsthand what some of your competitors are doing.
Yeah.
How does that how does that play into your preparation mentally to attack this race?
That's how it's always been for me. Like, I was on Bowerman Track Club, an established program as that is, and I think it helps me personally knowing, like, hey, if I can even be somewhere in the ballpark of where they're at, I trust that I step up to that.
No gaps, Woody.
No gaps, exactly, man. And I step up to where they're at in their races, and so that's how I like it. I prefer to train with people who are at a high level. I do think there's a part to training that has to be specialized wherever you're at in training, but yeah, Mike does a good job of keeping our egos in check.
That's cool, man. So listen, obviously we're getting ready for the games. What does the next, 6 to 8 weeks? We don't got much time, right? Obviously we know you haven't really raced much this season. So what does preparation look like leading up to the games? Are you racing? Are you training? What are you doing to get prepared?
I think I'm going to run the 5K to kind of just clear the legs and see where, I haven't done a lot of racing. So for me personally, I want to do a couple more races. And the 5K just happens to be next week. Happens to be a 5K coming up.
You don't have to travel for it.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess it's a good time to find a race. So I'll do that and then kind of work from there and see what Mike wants from there. I think that we'll probably go and get some big sessions in Europe. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Well, listen, Woody Kincaid, you made a fan out of me last night. I followed you on Instagram. I follow all of you guys on Instagram. I'm big in the distance community these days, man. So, listen, thank you guys for stopping up with us, man. Best of luck in Paris. I'm rooting for you, man. Awesome,
Appreciate
bro.
It, Thank you, Will.
Thanks, Woody.
Thanks.
Listen, we're subbing him out. We're bringing in another one.
Pass the baton.
Pass the baton. We got Mr. Nico Young joining us.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew.
Welcome, Nico. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations, my man. How you feeling?
I'm so excited. I think this is a surreal moment for me. So
Yeah, so,
yeah.
you know, but when Woody came up here, we got to see, you know, some of the later stages of that race for you. In addition, we got to see you sign the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to come back to that question because that's got to be something that's surreal, you know, maybe a little bit extra than what you were thinking might happen when you got their medal around your neck. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I think that's, yeah, like Woody said, that's what's special about the 10K is it's the first final like that. I mean, getting to sign that and be one of the first people to was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Man, listen, I want to kind of walk it back a second, right? Because I got a chance to watch you run a little bit in NCAA. I'm coaching at the University of Delaware, so I've been kind of looking at it from a different lens. I want to talk about coming into before this year, right? So we step into the NCAA this season. You had never won an NCAA championship, right? You had never finished higher than 8th place at a U.S. championship. Right? Then we come in, we sweep the indoor NCAAs, 5K, 3K. We go to the 10 outdoors. You qualify, hit the Paris Olympic standard. You break the NCAA record. You pass on the 10K at the NCAAs. You come here and you put together the performance to qualify you for the Paris Olympic Games. Excuse my French, what the fuck? like just kind of talk me through what this year has been like for you.
Yeah, I mean, this year's been crazy. I think the collegiate season is relentless with cross country and then indoor and outdoor. I had to be very meticulous with Coach Smith about choosing when to take breaks and picking races and workouts. But I think it was all part of like a natural progression that I already had going for me.
Sure.
I think I ran a lot of volume in cross country that might have got the best of me a little bit, but I got some rest after that and started hitting some faster workouts, and a lot of it started to come together.
That's
so,
cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't even know you that well, but I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you so
you've been
much.
crushing it.
Yeah, Nico, so did last night's race play out in any way, shape, or form like you thought it would?
I think so, honestly. I feel like I thought someone was going to take it and make it a little bit quicker, at least for the conditions that we had yesterday. And then, yeah, I expected Grant to go a little bit early, and I knew I had to just try to match everything that I could and place as high as I could. So, yeah.
When it's getting down to those final laps, I mean, are you doing any calculus? Are you looking around and being like, all right, I know Drew Hunter doesn't have the standard. It's really those two guys. It's me and Grant and Woody right now who are going to be fighting it out for the top three. Where, like, you know, roll the dice. What's going to happen here? But, like, you know, is that anything going on in between, you know, your thought processes?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like in the position that I was in, there was no way that I wasn't going to be thinking about those things that late in the race. I tried my best, though, to frame it as just competing and trying to place as high as possible and not focus on making a team, because I feel like that can create an unnecessary pressure and make you not feel as good as you want. So I was just trying to place as high as possible. Yeah.
All right. Woody said he's coming back in the 5K. Are we going to have the joy of getting to see you run any more laps this week?
Maybe. We haven't quite.
A man keeps his secrets.
As of now, I'm running the 5K.
Okay.
As of now.
Yeah.
All right. You heard it here first, folks.
That's
I'm
great.
going to hold you to it.
NCAA champion, now Olympian, Nico Young, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for spending some time with us, man, and best of luck in Paris, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Congratulations, Nico.
Thanks.
That's cool, man. Listen, this has been a joy, bro. Getting through day number 1. Now we're getting ready for day number 2. We're outside in the fan zone. We talked so much about it being hot. It was warm here today, but when we got inside the stadium as the meet went on, like, I noticed it started to chill a little bit. So I really feel like we're getting ready for some big time performances, man. I'm super excited. How you feeling?
You know, I think that the energy is just going to build day after day after day after day to a fever pitch that it might shake this facility to the ground.
Sure.
Darrell. Tonight we're going to see the first instance of that when Sha'Carri ultimately goes out and wins that 100 meters and gives the fans what they want to see.
Right.
But the men's shot, I don't even know what to say. I mean, like, will people be upset if Ryan Krauser loses? I mean, he's an Oregonian. Everyone loves Ryan Krauser. He's a world record holder.
Sure.
We're going to see Kovacs probably win tonight. And what is that going to do to the fan? Are they going to like seeing that, proverbial upset? But when I was talking with Matt James out there, he was talking about trying to find some sort of rivalry amongst people. And I want to see some glares. I want to see some looks. I want to see some snarls.
Absolutely.
I want to see people get scrappy because I think that's what makes some good sport.
Listen, I'm excited for it. Even, like you talked about the fans, I think they'll be upset if Ryan Krauser's not walking around with one of those flags. Like, I think that's really what's most important to this fan base. He's from here. They know it. They know what he's capable of. They heard the interview. They know what he's dealing with. They want him to have 6 more weeks. They want him to get an opportunity. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing maybe a little bit of a pissed off Ryan Krauser heading into. Listen, when you win 2 back-to-back Olympic Games and you're trying to go for your 3rd one, sometimes you need a little bit of adversity to push you over the hill. So I'm looking forward to that. But we're inside the fan zone. USA Track and Field has reached out to everybody asking for your questions. So every day we're going to take a few fan questions, and we got a few of them for you here today. Let's see what we got.
Okay, so one of the questions I referred to earlier was talking about the balance of camaraderie and competition. We sort of touched on that. The second question that came in was, how important is nutrition to Olympic prep? I think that we can extrapolate that to Olympic trials prep.
Sure.
But as we talked about, it's hot. You got to stay hydrated. You're going through round after round after round. A lot of the meets that our pros do are really one race affairs. So how you recover in between races is going to be extremely important for these athletes. And that's ice baths, that's hydration, that's making sure you're getting your protein and carbohydrates. So to answer the question, it's become incredibly important and increasingly so in the sport of track and field because every event here in Eugene is the best of the best. The U.S. no longer has weak events. And so if you're not, maximizing those recovery strategies, you're going to find yourself off the podium.
Sure. I think of that question in 2 parts, honestly. Like, one of the things that I think goes overlooked the most when we start talking about elite competitions is we're not at home. Like, when you're at home and you're training, you're making your food, there's rhythm, there's routine. When you're traveling and you're going across the world getting ready for the Olympic Games, what people underestimate is you're going to be staying inside the village. You're not cooking your own food. Now, they have great chefs. They prepare good, healthy food options, right? But it's different. Like, it's not the same. So maybe they don't have, like, that brownie that you're used to eating for pre-meet or whatever it is, right? Maybe the pasta's not that good, but it's part of your routine. So getting used to something like that is going to be a little bit different. Sleeping in a different bed, I think, is something that goes a little bit overlooked, but people got to pay attention to that. And when you look at those Olympic gold medalists, the best always overcome that. The second part, before we move on, because I thought about this in the second way, right, too? The multi-event athletes, the decathletes, right? We talked a bunch about them yesterday. They're coming back for day 2. Spending all of that time competing, their snack game has got to be at an all-time high. Hydration, Gatorades, waters, electrolytes, snacks, food, fruit. Like, you've got to make sure you've got all of those things handy. So nutrition is at an all-time high when you think about competing here at the Olympic trials.
Absolutely. It's undeniable. But, one thing I think is fantastic, and it's why the athletes look forward to coming and competing here, is because the local organizing committee, we got to give them a shout out. Tracktown USA does an incredible job of providing to the best of their abilities every single thing that our athletes need. Every person that qualifies for the Olympic trials has same access to massage, ice bath, nutrition center. And then again, when we go to Paris, USA Track and Field, Team USA, bar none, is the best prepared team on planet Earth. So shout out to all the doctors, nutritionists, that step up in their volunteer and paid roles to help make sure our athletes are incredibly well taken care of.
Absolutely, absolutely. And our second fan question that we've got from my man Toph Williams, he wants to talk about the balance of camaraderie yet competition during the trials and Olympics. And I think the men's shot put, all the throws events personally are a perfect example of that. If you watched the men's shot put yesterday, once Ryan Krauser and Joe Kovacs finished their qualifications, you saw them over there talking and hanging out, right? We all understand, I think the biggest thing to look at is, obviously we're competing against each other, but there's only one ring. It's not like the track where there's 9 lanes and everybody's running against each other. I understood a while back that there's only one person allowed in the ring at a time. So if you lose to somebody, it has nothing to do with them. It's all about you and your performance, right? So camaraderie is always present in the field events, but I'm not sure how that relies on the track.
Yeah, I think I think there are a lot because field event athletes, you spend so much time together in that area when there's only one person in the ring. I do feel as though there is more camaraderie amongst us, especially we're going to see that in decathlon tonight. One of my favorite moments in all of track and field is after the 1,500 meters when every single participant in the decathlon does their lap of honor. Those men have been out there exchanging body blows and face shots for 10 grueling events over 2 days. That's I'm looking forward to that so much tonight. We're going to crown some more Olympians. We get to watch the pinnacle events of the decathlon, and then we get to celebrate all those fantastic athletes.
Listen, man, I'm super excited. We talked a lot about day 2. Now it's time to get to it. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us here on the Journey to Gold Live, day number 2. We're here in the Fan Fest. It's lit, as you can tell. You can probably hear the music in the back. There's food. There's merchandise. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll be here again tomorrow. See you then.